push the button. So we are recording. Um, so let's discuss what we are going to discuss. Actually, we usually speak about our conference. Presenting what we have for the speaker, what kind of audience, what is the time window for the talk, things like that, and as well as answering any other questions you might have. I don't know, and then we can go through the details you send us. So we will ask a few questions.
Okay.
All right, so first thing about the conference, one is that we have 1 hour window, meaning that you don't have to include questions inside that window because we have special discussion zones which are available after the talk, where you can spend much more than 5 or 10 minutes with the audience answering questions and just talking with them. Right. That's why we just want to have more content in 1 hour, kind of. Another thing that we have quite technical audience, meaning that they know how to write some automation tests, and we believe that average audience has actually 3-5 years of experience in software testing. So it's not necessary, even it's kind of prohibited to explain them what is the test case, how page object looks like, and things like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other questions, maybe?
Yeah, I wanted to know, like, who's the audience that comes? Is it mostly testers, or is it mostly like managers? Like, what kind of audience is it?
I would say that we have 1% or even around 1% of the managers, but at the same time we have probably 10% of team leads or whoever who is responsible for managing people in some way. But most of the audience consists of kind of technical people who are just engineers or senior engineers, or whatever engineers they could be, but they are doing some probably not managing job, I would say. So yeah, and as well we have some developers, but probably some of the test engineers, they could be developers as well, since they could write some test automation frameworks, meaning that it's the same thing as development. So I think they have, some of them have kind of similar skills as developers. Yeah, at least I wish they have.
Great. Okay, that's good. And then how big is the event? I saw online it's like that you have like one auditorium, and the other question is that it looks like it's single track. There's like one track, or three.
Three tracks, yeah. Okay. And they are in parallel, and that's one of the reasons why we actually asking speakers to have exactly 1 hour for the talk, so we can synchronize. And as for the audience who are just watching online, they can. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, we have 3 tracks, and the first question was about how big is the conference, right?
Yeah.
Last time we had around 1,000 people. Vladimir, is that correct?
No, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, around
500, 800, something like that.
Okay. At least we expect to have 100, not 100, 1,000. That's my kind of evening.
Great. Yeah, you guys will be you'll be busy.
Yeah, sorry, like yeah, around 1,000 I think we will have this time.
Okay, cool. And then are all of your speakers from Moscow, or do you have like international speakers as well?
Yeah.
That varies. I mean, we gather different speakers, and we try to get like top experts from the fields, and they don't really collocate it in Moscow.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
So of course, the audience is probably or will be mostly from Moscow. Some will come from St. Petersburg, which is like the second major city in Russia.
Okay.
We don't have lots of attendees from abroad, but we gather speakers from different locations.
Okay. And the talks will all be in English though, right?
That depends. I mean,
my talk will be in English.
do you speak Russian?
I don't.
Unfortunately, yet.
Yeah.
Well, we expect talks to be like in two languages, English or Russian.
I mean, it's August. I can probably learn Russian in the next few months and get back to you. But
well, English is okay, and it is something that is expected by the audience. Of course, not everybody is very fluent, so that is kind of a thing. But we still say enforce that they should learn English, because well, lots of materials are available in English only format.
right. Okay.
So we don't provide translations, but we kind of enforce this learning.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I think those are my questions for now. But if anything else comes up, I'll let you know.
All right. So let's talk maybe about the proposal.
Yeah.
As far as understood, you want to talk about testing in production and about feature flags and some analytics. So what is what is the main takeaways for the audience? What do you expect to have?
Yeah. So the main takeaways are that when you test your software, you want to do it in the place that your users will interact with the software. So you want to do it in a production environment. And you can do that safely through feature flagging, which allows you to test in production without end users being affected. And the users will also take away risk mitigation, how to mitigate risk when you're testing in production, and also shifting your company's testing culture to be able to accept this new type of testing. But the big thing is, like, at the end of the day, there's a lot of times where your software works in a staging or QA environment, and then you deploy to production and it doesn't work because the environments are so different. So I kind of walk you through like the feature flagging process and using production canaries and why it's so much more beneficial, and your quality of your software just gets exponentially higher because you already know that your features are working in the production environment before you launch. So that's what my presentation's about.
Okay, I see. Do you have already slides for this presentation?
Yeah,
or?
I do.
Oh, you have them. Can you share with us them so we can maybe take a look at the content itself, or even maybe you have a video where you presented them all before?
Yeah, there's no video. I presented this at, I don't know if you're familiar with the Star East conferences or Star West.
Okay,
yeah, so I presented at Star East this year. They have like snippets, but not like a full recording. I can send you the slides though if you want to take a look. I'm happy
it will be great.
Yeah, cool. Usually, like for each I have like 5 other conferences this year that I'm speaking about this topic. So usually for each one, I'll modify it depending on what the audience wants and what the people who run the conference want. So yeah, I'll send it over to you.
All right, awesome. By the way, do you have any videos where you presented something before, not exactly this talk, but maybe other talks?
Do I have a video of me talking? I don't think so. I have a video of like advertising a talk, but not talking in front of people. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, that's not a big issue. We are asking because, just take a look how you're presenting, how you're behaving on the stage, things like that.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So we'll wait for the presentation. Will you drop it in Slack, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'll do it right now.
Great. And boom. So, all right. And what is, we have a very weird question, probably. What is your motivation for this talk to present it?
Yeah. My motivation is that I've experienced in the companies that I've worked in the pain of testing in a staging environment and the differences between staging and production. And I just know that testing in production, it just raises the quality of your code so much. And I think if other people like get over that fear of, no, it's not possible, or no, it can't be done, if they just try it and get over that fear, then it can really make a big difference. So I'm just trying to spread the word about this process, that it really does make a big difference on the quality of your code. So if I can help another tester or company do that, then I feel like I've fulfilled my duties.
All right. What would be your metrics that your talk was successful? How you will measure that?
So at the end of my last talk, we had like feedback cards. So people would write feedback and then score your talk from 1 to 10. So then you get feedback. That's like a physical number of like, this is the average that people gave to your talk. The other thing is by questions. At the end of my last talk, I had like, the talk was an hour long, but people stayed for questions, and the room was like still full, and I had like just a ton of questions, so that I know that people were engaged and they really liked the topic and they wanted me to continue talking about it. So that's how I know that it was a successful talk, because I noticed that people were not on their phones, people were not on their laptops, they were really listening to what I was saying. So I think that's also a metric. Yeah, and the questions and the feedback also.
All right, let's see. Great. So actually, I requested access for the file. I believe it's kind of private. But yeah. Anyway, do you have any kind of examples in the presentation? Meaning, you will talk about some feature flag scanner releases, and will you present some real cases with some products, or how will it look like? Just trying to...
So I have like a diagram where I explain it, but in terms of like a live demo, I can't use like my company's software for that.
Sure. Yeah.
But I do like go into detail of like how exactly to use the feature flags and to use the production canaries. So yeah, I think you should have access now.
Let me check once again. It shows preview picture, but once I'm getting into it, requires access.
Okay, it just updated permissions.
Oh. Yeah, actually, I do have. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Is it your workplace, like with a lot of...
Yeah. I started it with like, I don't know, I like to start with kind of a joke. It was like a practical joke that I did. Someone, I talk about like in my bio slide how I like to test my coworkers, and then the next slide is like I'm testing their patients. I think it's funny. Yeah. But yeah, I can. This is like my base, and then for the conferences, like I'll just create a copy and edit it however the organizers would like. So.
I see. Okay. All right. I'm just browsing your slides about feature flags, automation framework, scaling, alerts, tools. I see. Let's see, solution. Okay. All right. By the way, do you have maybe any example of the app which you might probably use in the examples, like to show some code how to configure properly one of the tools you suggested, or something which kind of more practical, I would say, or applicable? So
Yeah, I can add that.
yeah, it would be great. So I mean,
yeah, I can definitely add that. Like,
yeah, since people are listening to, yeah, this is a good approach. These are the tools, but they just probably don't know what to do. I mean, just with their hands, like so. We usually expect from people to do something new or something which will help to improve their work life on the next day of the conference. So that's why we're asking to have something more applicable or some stuff like that. Okay, that will be great. So that's about PDD solution.
yeah.
So you're proposing
I can definitely go more into.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So sorry. Slide 62. Like I have like a step-by-step of the major flow of like how to do this. And so in there, maybe or even earlier, I can get into the details of like the feature flagging and how that would work. Or even when I start talking about feature flagging earlier, that's no problem.
Okay. All right, I see. Okay, and there's some list of resources, source labs. And what is the source labs? Oh, I see. Here it is. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's quite clear what you have. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it really helps to in case our potential speakers have something already prepared before the talk. It's nice that they have it, because otherwise it's hard to understand from time to time what kind of information you have.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Actually, other than that, I don't have questions since I just walked through that. As I said, we usually recommend or expect to have more practical stuff. I don't know, maybe you can take a look at some videos. I don't know, I will share you a few videos from the previous conferences. Probably will give you more ideas what we had before. Even I do remember we had the talk about feature flags, but I don't remember if it was in Russian or in English. So I don't know.
Okay.
If it was in Russian, I won't send you. But anyway.
Yeah. So what I can do is maybe this weekend I'll just add change this to make it more like technical and practical, and then I can send it to you again when I'm done.
Yeah, that will be nice.
Sure.
And I have actually questions about travel and expenses and things like that. So you're traveling, like your company pays for that or not really?
No, usually I have the conference pay for it. My company paid for the first like 3 talks, but after that it was getting to be a lot. So.
Okay, so you expect to have a travel. Okay, great. Okay, anyway, so where are you flying from?
From Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv. I see. Okay. All right.
Oh, sorry. Does that imply you don't really need a Russian visa?
Sorry.
Vladimir asks whether you need Russian visa or not. Do you know?
No. I was born in America. I have an American passport, so I don't need a visa. Yeah. And if the travel, if that's like the decision that like makes it not happen, then I can ask the company to cover it. But let me know if that's an option for you guys to do it first, and then I'll ask them.
Sure. Yeah, we'll let you know. But usually we pay for the travel. We ask that because of like limitations of budget, and as well as some of the speakers, they prefer to have trip paid by their company by different reasons. That's why we are asking. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Usually, final decision we make by the end of the call for paper, and this one closes, I believe, by the end of September. But in case of acceptance, or even if you have some circumstances, we can do something about it.
Okay, cool. So I'll fix the slides and I will send them to you either Sunday or Monday.
All right. Yeah, there is no rush. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, I think that's all about it. After that, we will just reach you offline, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah,
Bye.
me too. Bye-bye.